Oh, I gotta turn my light on. Hold on. Much better. Shimode, welcome back. Twitch Prime. 8 months. Holy crap. It's been 8 months. That's nuts. It is Monday. Monday. Welcome to the Twitch world. Let's see. What are we talking about today? How was everybody this weekend? I'm going to put the lipping, chapping, sticking stuff on. Quality. Try and make that as awkward as possible because, you know, that's what you need to do. Give everyone the minute to get here. I wonder. Oh, that brings echo back. I don't want that. That brings echo back. Alrighty. Just trying to think what I want to do before we start officially chatting. So many great games I want to play. But Jamode, thank you very much for coming in with the 8-month resub with your Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime. Get it, know it, love it. Got a bunch of new followers while we were off air. Vishnu Venki followed. That's awesome. Thank you for joining. Got Hog Spit. Love that name. Good old Hog Spit. Followed. Got Luke. Followed. Luke's in quite a few people's channel that we all know and love. No Mozilla. Another follow. Who else we got follows? Who else? Miss H cheered a whole crap ton last stream. That was pretty awesome of her. Thank you, Miss H, for doing that. Oh, boy. All right, so what are we talking about today? Talking about capacity. Oh, capacity means a whole bunch of different things to a whole bunch of different people. So, what's up, Alan? Thanks for making it here, Andy. How was your weekend, bud? Hey, Andy, you got 2 seconds? You want to have a crack at my sound real quick before we get started on capacity? Give people a few seconds to get in here. What's up, Luke? Glad you made it in, buddy. Shut that bad boy down. So we need to pull up the sound doohickey. So, what I think's happening is I have 2 things set to... Actually, I don't want that. I want this, I think. Yeah, no, I want this. what I think is age mode. What's up, Pickle? Nice bench press. Did you see my Twitter response to you, Pickle? That was funny. Great intro to your hot shit, by the way. That's a good episode. Well, Andy, we'll do it another time. There's too many people here. Go back to this. So we're going to talk about capacity today. And I guess capacity, maybe we can look at capacity a bunch of different ways. And I'm going to butcher this word all stream long because I talk so stinking fast. But we can look at capacity in a bunch of different ways. And it's, capacity in the sense of, how much can a cup hold, or, capacity in the sense of how much pain can I tolerate for sets of 900. Yeah, that's my, it's my warm-up, Pickle. Yeah, like lung capacity, things like that. It's volumetric. When we think about, the everyday touch, feel it world, but really what we're talking about is this idea of emotional capacity. How much can I tolerate before I've had enough of, whatever that thing is. And so very often, when we use phrases like, well, I just don't think he had the capacity to deal with whatever was happening in his life, and so X, Y, Z happened, or something to that effect. The reality is that, capacity is unlike this, right? This has a finite capacity. I can only put however many, ounces of fluid. I forget what it is, a 20 ounce or 14 ounce cup of stuff in that. Whereas for us, our capacity fluctuates. It depends on the day, depends on our mood, depends on what we're being challenged with. You can change the fluid, but at the same time, it really only still has the same volume, right? So the capacity is still finite, whether you change the density of the stuff or not. All it's going to change is the weight, not necessarily the volume. But when we talk about a person's capacity, we're talking about something completely different when it comes to that word. And when I say it's different because it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same based on the individual. It's not going to be different. It's not going to be the same based on the circumstance. And it's not going to be, it could even change based on the season. Some people's capacity to regulate their emotions changes based on the season. You may or may not have heard of seasonal affective disorder. That's no problem, Miss H. That's a real thing. I remember back in Canada when I was there, I had a pastor that had one of those funky lights on his desk, and during the winter months would have to have this light on to give him more access to sunlight, vitamin D essentially, because it affected his mood. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this idea of capacity today, and I'm going to start you off with a phrase, and I want you to kind of springboard off of the phrase. And the phrase is this: don't ask me what I know. Ask me what my capacity to do what I know is. So we kind of touched on this last week. So again, the phrase is this: don't ask me what I know. Ask me what my capacity to do what I know is. And again, last week we talked about, or 2 weeks ago, Andy, you talked about this quite a bit. You mentioned on your stream actually a couple times this idea of the difference between knowledge and wisdom. You can know a lot of things, but if you don't know how to apply it, it's irrelevant. So again, to say to somebody, but you knew that this was right, or you knew that this was wrong, but yet you still did it. You're omitting what their capacity is to do that thing that they know. Right? So I'll ask you, what is something that you fundamentally know how to do, but yet practically can't do? You're all going to have something different. For some people, it could be, I know how to change a tire, but functionally, I don't think I could change a tire. I know the general process for doing that, but I don't know that I could actually do that, if that makes sense. What's something that you think that you know but don't generally have the capacity to do? For a lot of you, it could be even sports. A lot of you are great armchair quarterbacks. Right? I think that's probably one of the biggest things. So a lot of us profess to know certain things or profess to be able to perform certain tasks. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and that's the other thing. PUBG looks so easy. You watch these people play it all day long, and then you get on there and you're thinking, holy crap, how did he even, I can't even loot properly, let alone get a shot off and get, more than 1 kill or 2 kills in a game. Remember when PUBG first came out, I watched you guys play all the time. And you would sit there and think, well, this is easy, Then you get on there and you actually try and play the game, and it's like, holy crap, how do you even begin? Right? But that's the same with anything. It requires hand-eye coordination. That's something you need to train. So now we're getting towards something here. So just like anything else, you can say, I have the general principle of how to do something. I have the capacity to learn it. But that doesn't necessarily mean I have the capacity to do it. That's why I think it was, again, that same stream, Andy, that we were talking about this idea of knowledge and wisdom. That, I kind of joked about this idea that YouTube is a great tool, but it doesn't make you an expert. Just because you can watch a YouTube video on how to change a motor in a car doesn't mean you can actually functionally then go and change a motor in your car. There's a whole lot of things that determine whether or not you can make that happen. But I want to take that conversation one step further when we talk about capacity. And I want to introduce the idea of emotion into it, and how our emotional state can either inhibit or encourage us towards completion. Right? Was that Shimon? Golf under the proper technique, but still in bed. Oh, that's everybody. There is nobody on the planet, Shimon, that is good at golf. There are some that are better than others, but everybody sucks. Just point the dot at their face. Yeah. Yeah, and that really, Luke, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You think that just because you read a manual or you watched a video that suddenly you're a Michelin star chef. It doesn't work that way, right? So the other thing that you get into when you start talking about this idea of capacity is you have to take into account a person's experiences. So there are certain things that can get in the way of capacity. So I'm going to give you a list of things. And feel free to chime in where you feel necessary to today. The first thing I'm going to talk about is this idea of personalization. Anyone know what that is? Personalization is this idea that it's my fault. So go on this idea of PUBG since Andy brought it up. You watch this guy go on in Twitch and he's killing all these characters in PUBG, and he's looting like a madman, and he's getting all these chicken dinners, and it's great. Things are amazing. And then you get on there and you suck. And you immediately think there's a character flaw. I'm just not good at video games, or I don't have the hand-eye coordination, or my fingers are too small and I can't reach the buttons. The idea there is it's everything is your fault. Well, no, there are at this point in time capacity issues. You just have not learned effectively how to use the keys. You haven't learned effectively how to, as Luke says, just put the dot on their face and left click. There are things that you don't have the capacity yet to develop because there are steps that you have to follow. And very often people can personalize that and end up quitting after a very short period of time because they just think that they're ineffective. I'm not as good as they are. It must be me. So there's something called personalization. When you start making a capacity issue a personal issue. I'm defective. The other side of that, well, not really the other side, it goes in conjunction with that, is this idea of pervasiveness. So you have personalization and you have this thing called pervasiveness. With pervasiveness, the idea there is, oh, thanks, Andy. Appreciate that, buddy. I owe you some push-ups, apparently. Dono cam on its way. With pervasiveness, you have this other thing where you think you go from thinking it's my fault to this idea that